you have a great story idea, and I'll use this as an example. A car chase. Your protagonist is being chased down the road, but 2 miles down the road, around the bend, the road is out, and the individual being chased will end up getting killed. Now, I know that really isn't a great story idea, but let's pretend that it is, because I want to use it as an example. So you go ahead and write it all out, how it happens from the protagonist's point of view. And if this were a great story idea, the key element would be the road being out and the fact that these two forces came to the conclusion of the demise of the individual being chased. That being, they're being chased, so they're trying to escape danger, but that pushes them right towards danger and their end. So you go ahead and write it out the way it happens, but the problem is the key scene, the best scene in the story, is over before the reader or viewer knows that it happened. So good timing in fiction writing is essential. Let's look at suspense. What is suspense? Suspense is not about what is happening in the story or what has happened in the story, but is about the viewer's anticipation about what is going to happen. So you want to use timing to make that key scene a more spread out part of the story. You want to have one thing you could do is just have another camera shot showing the road out and then go back to the main scene. Or you could find, there could be a newspaper on the cafe that morning saying road is out, but the individuals that are going to be chased are too busy to see that headline, but you could go ahead, find some way so that the reader can anticipate it, even if the protagonist can't. One thing that happens with really great stories is that the best scenes can be over before the viewer has a chance to enjoy them, and that is a problem that turns up in fiction a lot, where your best scenes, if you want to enhance the suspense of your story, if you want to make your story have the viewer on the edge of their seat more, it isn't about adding to it and making it worse and adding more blood or whatever types of, it isn't just about someone's demise. The suspense could be having to do with romance, so it could be, you don't want to add more, you don't want to throw more flowers and endearing words on it. Instead, you want to think about the timing. You want to find some way to allow the viewer some time to live out those key scenes more, and this can be through them anticipating that might be what will happen. You can leave more. Life is full of clues about what is going to happen. Your real life. You walk down the street and it's full of clues about what could happen. It's a rainy day. You're crossing the street. You see a car, going 70 miles an hour down the street towards you. That is hinting at what can happen. So humans anticipate. That's where a lot of the story lives. So just to have a great story idea is not enough. You need to think about how that the great story plus the other, there are also other stories that happen with your story that are not written, and those are the stories of what the viewer anticipates might happen. So remember, a lot of great scenes only take a couple of seconds in the viewer's mind. You want to find some way, if you want them to enjoy those great scenes more, find some way for them to be aware of it as a possibility, or enjoy the scene before it's over. To you know, and it can be useful to have something happen in a story, and the reader is reading, and they're continuing to read, and something really big happens, and it's over right at the time that they find out that it already happened, and then they're on to the next part of the story. And that's really good with surprises, but keep in mind that you can entertain your viewer more by building up suspense and thinking about how, if you have events happen in the story that are over right at the same time that the viewer finds out that that's happened, you're sort of robbing yourself of the possibility for that scene, and you're taking away from the amount of enjoyment that a viewer can get out of this really amazing, you know, incredible plot twisting thing that happened in the story. So that's important. Another thing is to, now there can be suspense that is going on right in the middle of something. I mean, if you think about, like, because it's a scene that is drawn out, the viewer is living in it and can be there with it, enjoying it happening while it's happening. So if you have, you know, and this is why, you know, fight scenes and flight scenes and chase scenes entertain people, is because it doesn't take 2 seconds for a change to happen. You know, it can take 5 minutes of being in the middle of it, knowing that they're in a situation where good and bad can happen, and being held in that situation, knowing that in every second of that situation, you know, change is imminent. And another thing, good timing for fiction writing is about being able to leave the writer's mind and go into the viewer's mind. And by far, the best way to do this is to read your story to someone else, because as soon as you do that, you put yourself in the reader's mind. While you are reading your story, your mind switches over and you're thinking, oh, wait, they don't know that is going to happen. Or, oh, you know, I should have added this. And it isn't about handing your story over to someone to edit. What you want to do is you want to use that part of your brain that clicks into the mode of it thinking what the person you're with is probably thinking. And the best way to do that is just read your story to someone else. You don't even need feedback. You don't even need them to say anything. What you need to do is have your brain switch into that other mode where it isn't just you at home writing. You know, you want the whole other new viewpoint, and then things will pop out at you. You'll think, well, they don't see that the road is out, and you'll discover that by reading your story to someone else. And it's a very effective, powerful tool for the writer. Read the story to someone else. It will switch your mind over to anticipating what the person you're with is thinking, which is the viewer's point of view, and then things that you won't need to think, I know that as the writer, but they don't know that. You'll automatically do that. You'll think, oh my God, I didn't clue them into this, or oh, I know this is going to happen, but they have no idea. So that's very important. I hope this was helpful. I hope your writing goes great. And also, I do this to get the word out about my animation work at solomation.com. Please take the time to go and check it out. And if you like my tutorials, hit the like button, subscribe, and hope your writing goes great, and I hope you have a good day. Here's a quick motivational tip for doing your artwork. It's hardest to get started. After that, it's a hell of a lot easier. So a lot of times it's a good thing to do, just to do your artwork for 3 minutes, because you've stepped past that one thing that stops people, more than 50% of the time, and that's just getting started.